Hello friends and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Joy and today in this lecture we will discuss about the need for a model policy for women in the police service. So coming to the current affairs, we will see that recently in the years the number of women in the police service is rising. So it is not only with the police service but also in the paramilitary services also the number of women or the women representation is rising. So therefore, considering the special needs and concerns of the women, there is a need for a concrete policy for women in the police force. So we will discuss about the need and what should be the features of such a policy and what changes it can make and what will be the impact of such a policy in the society. So we will discuss all this in detail, but before we begin, this is our channel StudyIQ and we are providing pen drive courses for various competitive examinations including SSC bank courses, UPSC optionals, SSC JE courses, teaching examination, railway examination, defense examinations, RBI grade B, NABARD grade A, UGC NET, UPSC Civil Services Examination, CLAT exams for various state PSCs and also for various professional courses. You can visit our website www.studyiq.com for more details, or you can call to any of these numbers for more information. Now coming back to our topic, let us first understand why do we need a policy for the women police in India. Now, the women constitute around 7% of the total police strength in India, and it is expected to rise with the status and tendencies in the past few years. So, in the last few years, it is seen that the participation of women in the police force of the country has been on rise and increasing. So, now it has reached around 7% and it is expected to rise. And another reason for increase in the women participation is that many states and union territories are providing 30% or more reservation for women in the police in specific ranks. Now we have seen that many state governments are providing state specific reservations for government jobs, which includes the police force also. So the women participation in the police force is expected to rise with increased reservations up to 30% or even more in certain states and union territories. So this can definitely bring up the percentage of women participation in the police force of the country. Now, even though certain states are providing reservations for women in the police force of their own state, no state has attempted to create or to draft a specific policy for the women police in their country. So, merely providing reservations is not enough, but the state should also draft a specific policy that will address the needs of the women police in the state or a country or the country as a whole. Now, the whole purpose of providing reservation is to increase gender diversity in police force. So, this is to empower the women in the police force. But if the true objective of providing reservations is a gender empowerment or to bring in gender diversity, this needs to be accompanied with a proper policy. So, policy making along with reservations is very important. And in this context, the central government can come up with a model policy that will help make policing inclusive, non-discriminatory and efficient, and particularly it should address the needs and requirements of the women police force in the country. So this is the need for a model policy for women in the police. Now let us understand what should be the essential requirements or what should be the essential features of such a model policy if the government adopts or comes up with a model policy for women. So generally we can say that if the government comes up with such a policy, the policy should essentially and primarily challenge the deep-rooted patriarchy in the institution. So the police forces in the country are traditionally patriarchal in nature. So such a model policy should be able to challenge the patriarchy in the law and order system and in the police force. It should provide equal opportunities for women in every aspect of policing, and it should also ensure a safe and enabling working environment. So, equal opportunities, and secondly, it should provide a safe and secure working environment for the women is very important, and this should be the basis of such a model policy that will address the needs of the women police in the country. And secondly, the policy should try to increase the number of women police or the participation of women police. So for that, we have already seen that various states and union territories have adopted the policy of reservation, providing up to 30% of seats or reservations or vacancies for women, or even more than 30%. But increasing the numbers is a multi-dimensional aspect. It should not end with merely providing reservations, but it should be a broad-based approach. So it definitely means that along with providing reservations, the police department should develop an action plan in order to achieve the 30% proportion of women participation in a time-bound manner. And those states which are providing reservations or quotas for women, they should also consider geographical diversity. That means the department should undertake special recruitment drives in every district or from various parts of the state. So it should also ensure there is geographical diversity. And the police forces should also reach out to the media and educational institutions in order to provide an awareness about the opportunities for women in the police. So awareness campaigns or information campaigns will also help attract young people into the police force, especially young women. And also, according to the current statistics and data that is available, the women in the police are mainly concentrated in the lower ranks. So this tendency should change. That means to the upper ranks also there should be women participation. So specific policies should address this issue as well. Now, another important aspect that should be covered by the policy for women in police is to ensure gender equality. It means that now the policing job has been it means that now the policing or the police forces are highly biased in favor of men. It means that the women are given certain duties and jobs that are physically less demanding or less important. So the police forces are highly favorable for men, and women are not included in important functions like investigations or maintenance of law and order, etc. They are mainly confined to desk duty, or they work on crimes against women alone. So this should change, and they should be provided with equal opportunity with that of men. And this will help to facilitate the presence and participation of women in leading operational positions. The women police officers should be encouraged to take on public order and investigate crimes of all types. And traditional jobs like desk work, which is now allotted to women alone, should be evenly distributed among men and women. So this will help in bringing gender equality in police forces. Now, the policy should also address the issue of a support system. So it should be able to provide a support system for the women police. This is because Indian society is traditionally patriarchal in nature. So the burden of the family, child care, household work, everything falls on the women. Even though the woman is educated or employed, household work and taking care of children, all these falls under the responsibility of women. So in order to help the women police to take up the burden of the family and child care, the police departments should provide proper internal child care support systems. And the departments should also be thoughtful about the social reality, and it should be sensitive in making decisions on the transfers and also the posting of women personnel. And also, most of the state police departments have received funds under the modernization of state police forces scheme. And it should be made sure that these funds that are available under the modernization of state police forces scheme is properly utilized by the police departments. So this should be used to provide separate toilets and changing rooms for women police, and also for constructing separate accommodation for women in the police stations and units. So it should be used for infrastructural development and also for the welfare of women police in the service. Another important issue it should address is a complaints committee. So the police departments must ensure that the women get a safe working space in the police station or any associated area. So the police departments should adopt a zero tolerance policy towards discrimination against women and also harassment of women. And the police departments should also operationalize the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act of 2013. And the police departments are also legally bound to set up internal complaints committee in order to prevent sexual harassment at the workplace. So it should ensure that women get a safe and secure place to work, and it should also ensure that in case of any violation of rights of women, there should be a complaints committee that will address the issues of the women in the force. You can find the PDF of this lecture on my Facebook page, and for any queries regarding your preparations, you can get in touch with me on my Facebook page, or you can email me at joyshi.studyiq@gmail.com. Thank you.